Item 11.
Item 11, we do have an addendum from item 12, which is actually an added item 11B, Department and Committee reports, non-action items. Update regarding a significant federal grant that will fund a critical improvement project that includes extensive collaboration with Adams, Arapahoe, and Pueblo Counties. Julie Crow, Executive Director, Human Services.
Yeah. Exciting news.
And you're bringing good news, right?
Yes, good news. Good morning, commissioners. And I am here today to share some very good news with all of you. You've heard us talk a little bit about applying for some very important state and federal grants for the Department of Human Services to implement a system called HSConnects. And I'm pleased to say that we're going to give a very brief presentation, but the good news is that we have been awarded both the federal and the state grant for HSConnects. One of the reasons that I'm most pleased about this is that it aligns with our strategic plan, specifically item Goal 1, Strategy 3, number 2, which states that the county will effectively utilize federal grants and other funding opportunities to ensure county residents are easily able to access county services. So check by item G1, Strategy C2, which we're pleased about. If you can please flip to the next slide. The first grant that we're pleased to announce is our federal grant, which we just received notice of on Thursday of last week, in the amount of $614,736 from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Food and Nutrition Services. This is only one of only 7 projects in the entire United States that were awarded these funds. So we should be very proud of all of our staff that are here, and later I'll ask them to come up for a photo and recognize them, that worked on this grant, because being one of 7 in the country, I think, is a very big deal. It was very competitive, and the grants were really meant to be prioritized for state departments of human services, and only, I think, 3 counties out of those 7 received awards. So, and ours is a collaborative between multiple counties that you'll hear about. We led the effort, so we are the applicant in this project, but we're partnering with Adams, Pueblo, and Arapahoe County to implement the Automated SNAP Assistance Processing Project, or ASAP, which includes creating a new workflow management system. Arapahoe County actually developed this system, and you might have seen that Commissioner Nancy Sharp and her team received an award from NACO recently for developing one of the systems that received an award for timely processing and improvements and efficiencies to county residents. So we'll be replicating that system in El Paso County. The second grant, if you slip to the next slide, and the reason I'm presenting these together is because they actually go together. This system integrates our SNAP and Medicaid systems and has the potential to integrate other systems to create efficiencies and effectiveness in federal or in state government and county governments. The amount is $241,717,000. And this one came from the Colorado Health Care Policy and Financing, or HCPF, and it covers the Medicaid side of the system. And as you know, 1 in 4 people in the state has been identified as receiving Health First Colorado benefits. Between these 2 grants, the system is covered by 90% funding for 3 years, and the savings that will be achieved by this grant are very significant, and you'll hear about those in a minute, but we'll actually save way more than our county contribution would be by implementing this system. And one of the things that I like to think about when we apply for grants is this something that we were going to do anyway, or are we just chasing dollars? And I never think it's a good idea just to chase dollars, but this is something that we had very much wanted to bring to El Paso County anyway, and we're kind of exploring where there are ways to fund this within our existing dollars. So this is truly icing on the cake that now we have federal and state funding to bring this system to El Paso County. As I said, the system was originally developed in Arapahoe County. It's called HSConnects. It overlays with state eligibility systems so that our caseworkers spend less time searching for documents and managing eligibility time. One thing that they saw in Arapahoe County was an increase in staff morale because our staff don't want to spend all their time pushing papers. They want to help people get jobs and be self-sufficient. And so now they have to spend a tremendous amount of time processing papers, moving papers from here to there. We're pretty much 100% paper system. And so this will take us to a new technology that really moves a lot of that out of the way so they can spend more time doing the work that they really want to do with our customers. It promotes greater efficiency and transparency across divisions of each county's Department of Human Services through the use of document imaging. And what I mean by that is, for instance, we share a county line with Pueblo. And so if one of our customers moves to Pueblo and they have all of their documents scanned into the system and their eligibility taken care of, when they move across the street into another county, they could literally have to start completely over. That won't have to happen anymore. And as more and more counties come onto this system, the documents will be readily available across counties, streamlining time that we have to spend on this, overtime, and also, more importantly, the customer's experience. And Arapahoe County's role in this grant will be to provide the 3 partnering counties, which are obviously us and Pueblo and Adams County, with their technical expertise and training in terms of what they've learned about the system. Next slide. The way that it works is that it uses high-speed document scanners to digitalize the documents, then reads the state's program systems to determine when a case is due, who the documents should be routed to, and prioritizes work based upon the due date of every case with the documents in queue. So if you recall, at one of our meetings, we were at about 99% timely processing. You asked if we could get to 100. I hope so, but this system certainly prioritizes the work based on the date it's due. So we've been having to figure that out, and now the system will literally push work to each person and pre-populate the system. It will also create what's called a queue flow system in our lobby. So if you think about when you go to get your driver's license, there's a numbering system, you get a little tag. In our lobby, frankly, looks a little chaotic at times. It's really full of people and they're all waiting a very long time. This will go away. People will get a number. They'll be able to begin filling out some of their documents online before they even get called up. And so the processing time will decrease tremendously and customers won't have to wait. So the system allows work also to be transferred with us, by the most priority to other workers, and it includes performance dashboards. So I would know if one person is really good at processing quickly without error, and another person, say, is taking a really long time or processing with a lot of errors, and now we will be able to have dashboards and graphs and the ability to look at how our workers are doing and provide training if needed to bring people up. And also, we'll be able to recognize outstanding performance because we'll really know who's processing quickly and accurately. And there's some state and federal penalties if you make errors, and so it's really important to be error-free in this work. If you go to the next slide, I think the important part of this slide is really to recognize that in Arapahoe County, and we expect to see similar results in El Paso County, this system streamlined the application process by 92% and reduced the error rate from 30% to nearly 0. And we're roughly at about a 30% error rate now. One thing to note is that errors include many things, but nevertheless, we'll be able to really reduce that, and that'll be a positive thing for our county. In addition, Arapahoe County saved 4 million sheets of paper annually. So we expect to save a lot of money through paper, and over $1 million in temporary staffing and overtime cost. We don't spend as much as Arapahoe County in overtime, but we do have overtime. We do have mandatory overtime, and we expect to save money in that. And that will also help staff morale because mandatory overtime isn't a good thing for staff. It's not fun. It's one thing to volunteer, but another thing to told you actually have to stay in order for us to meet our processing times. We expect that to go away or be significantly reduced. And the system reduced the application submittal process from 25 minutes down to 2 minutes. So significant efficiencies. And finally, I just really wanted to thank everyone and ask you all to do the same because this was quite a team effort. It wasn't my grant, but really a lot of people worked to help write and edit and plan and go up and look at the system in Arapahoe County and a whole bunch of other systems. And so we've been working on this really for probably about 10 months. And so to see it come to reality is a huge deal for our team. They're very, very excited about this. And so we wanted to thank the DHS staff, but it's not just DHS staff. And we'll get to the next slide. There are so many partners. So obviously our partner counties, if our DHS staff on this slide could please come up to be recognized. And also, if you flip to the next slide, you can see this was also a partnership with our budget department who helped with this grant, our IT department, as well as Joining Vision and Action, who helped us pull all of this material together and make sense of it to submit the federal grant, and Hunger Free Colorado. We had letters of support from many of our congressmen. We expect, at least we hope to see a quote from Congressman, I think Tipton or Lamborn or Kaufman. I think actually it's Kaufman who's planning to help us with a quote for our news release. But all of these congressional members wrote letters of support for this grant. So you can see we had strong support at the state, the federal, and the local level. And I also want to thank all of you as commissioners. Obviously, we had to bring the grant here in the first place to be approved by you to submit it. So it couldn't have happened without all of you. And then we also needed to turn in some forms to accept the grant, and that can't happen without all of you. So our team really appreciates your support in bringing the system here. And truly, we thank you. So if everyone on the slides could please come up so we could take a picture, I'd appreciate that. And that, please, our budget folks, and if we have IT people, I really do mean everyone because it couldn't have happened without everyone on both of those slides. So you'll see Karen Logan. Karen is going to be our project lead at the department on this project. And so, you know, she's done amazing work. Every single person, Christina Iodice is an excellent editor and helped review and edit the final project. So everyone here put their hard work into it. We worked many late nights to get this federal grant submitted. It's probably about twice as thick as this document. So thank you.
Great. Does anybody else want to say anything? All right. Excellent. Commissioner Wolf.
Thanks. Well, I just certainly congratulate you. I know federal grants can be very onerous to put together, to make sure that every I is dotted, every T is crossed. They only give you a certain amount of space in which you can actually write and make a compelling reason on why you should receive the grant and how you're going to utilize the funds. So many times, too, grants come with so many strings attached. So I'm glad that you're very cautious on what you do write grants for, as you said, and how you're going to implement them. I'm glad that you guys get to do this, and it's phenomenal, the staff time you're going to save, the paper you're going to save, and the efficiency that we're going to have here in El Paso County. So I commend all of you. Good job.
Great.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Well, we definitely want to get a picture, so
Thank you.
fantastic.